Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call this afternoon. It is the Scarlet Hawks baseball team taking on a very tough opponent in the first place North Attleboro Rocketeers, a Davenport Division showdown between the Scarlet Hawks, who come into today's action at 3-11 overall on the season, tied for fourth place in those Davenport standings, taking on the division leader, 11-1 overall on the season. More on North Attleboro in just a little bit, but first, Milford coming into action here today off of a tough loss 2 days ago here on their home field, a game that we covered here on Milford TV, as the Hawks took on Foxborough right on the brink of playoff elimination, hoping to keep those dwindling playoff hopes alive as they took on a Warriors team that they had managed to handle with ease earlier on in the season. What started out as a pitching duel, I should say, in the early innings ended up being a disappointing loss for Milford, allowing 7 runs in the 6th inning to turn a 1-0 lead into what was eventually a 7-1 loss. So that gave Milford their 11th loss on the season, officially eliminating them from playoff contention. And so now the parameters shift on the season for the Scarlet Hawks as they start to look ahead now towards the future, and that's been something that Coach Dion has been balancing all year long, trying to work that balance between competing now and also developing players for the future, with this being a bit of a rebuilding season for the Scarlet Hawks. So now an opportunity to continue to take a hard look at this team, assess where the talent is at, and look for a strong push, a strong finish to this regular season with an eye towards how this program is going to continue to develop in the years to come. And it will be a very good test for these young Scarlet Hawks here this afternoon. As I mentioned, North Attleboro 11-1 on the season. They have been impressive this year in a year where a lot of teams around the Hockomock League have been in rebuild mode, losing a lot of players from last year's senior class. This team has been the antithesis of that. This is an upperclassman heavy class, maybe more so than any other team in the Hockomock League this year, with their entire roster comprised of seniors and juniors. This is a battle-tested team, a team that has taken their lumps over the years but has continued to improve, and now a dynamic and talented roster at the peak of their skills, and they have certainly been demonstrating that as the season has gone on. They've scored a total of 84 runs through their 12 games so far this season, allowing just 22, so their offense has been good, their pitching has been very good. A good matchup against a very good opponent here today as the Milford Scarlet Hawks will take on the North Attleboro Rocketeers. We will have the starting lineups and the game's first pitch in just a moment here on Milford TV. Back inside Pheno Field, time to get this game going, and as always, before we get started with the game's first pitch, we will bring you the starting lineups for both of these teams. We begin with the visiting North Attleboro Rocketeers. Leading it off is their designated hitter, Brendan McHugh. The second baseman, Nick Sinicola, bats second, with Zach DiMatteo, the catcher, batting third. Nathan Pierce, the center fielder, bats cleanup, with Nick Ranieri, the third baseman, batting fifth. Batting sixth is the right fielder, Jeff Gale, with the left fielder, Nolan Buckley, batting seventh. Aiden Harding is the first baseman, batting eighth, and in the ninth spot is North Attleboro's starting pitcher, Peter Cohen. And for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, a different looking lineup here than what we have seen through the early games we have covered on the season. Leading it off is the senior captain, Aiden Wild, at first base. Matt Shaver, the shortstop, moved down to the number 2 spot, with Tyler Almeida, the catcher, batting third. Matt Nickerson plays left field and bats fourth, with Colby Pyers, the third baseman, batting fifth. Matt Swanson is the designated hitter, batting sixth, with Sam Naylor in the starting lineup in right field, batting seventh. Justin Appleby plays second base and bats eighth, and in the ninth spot playing center field is Nick Marcolini. And on the mound in this one for the Scarlet Hawks will be Luke Rosa, who has emerged as the ace of the Scarlet Hawks staff through this season. Very good numbers on the year for Rosa. He impressed in a start that we covered here on Milford TV earlier this season, and overall on the year, Rosa making his 5th appearance of the season. It will be his 5th start. He comes in with a 1-1 record and a 1.62 ERA, an excellent earned run average for the sophomore. He's allowed just 9 runs on the season, only 5 of those earned, a total of 17 hits through 21 2/3 innings. He's walked 15 to 16 strikeouts on the year, so he would like to get those walk totals down as he continues to harness his control, but he's had very good velocity, very good stuff throughout this sophomore campaign. So as you start to look at those bright spots, those building blocks for the future for the Scarlet Hawks, Luke Rosa is front and center in that conversation, and a very good opportunity for him today, facing a very potent lineup in the North Attleboro Rocketeers. The first pitch is on the way, and it's high for ball one as baseball gets underway here in Milford. Very different weather conditions here this afternoon than what we experienced here back on Monday. It was a very warm and sunny day on Monday. But after some severe storms came through the area through the afternoon and evening yesterday, it's cooled things down considerably. Here's a 2-0 pitch. It's down in the dirt. And so the control not quite there so far in this first at bat for Rosa. He goes to 3-0 against Brendan McHugh. And the 3-0 pitch is in for a strike. Temperatures here at game time right at 60 degrees. So about 20 degrees cooler than what we experienced when we were here at Pheno on Monday. Also a heavy cloud cover overhead. 3-1 pitch is swung on and tapped into the glove of Tyler Almeida. And the count now runs full. And now the payoff pitch is grounded down the third base line, and it's past Colby Pyers. Tried to play it off to the side. And that may very well go as a base hit, but a ball that was playable for Pyers. Puts the leadoff man on now ahead of Nick Sinicola. I mentioned him a bit in the open, a very talented pitcher, but also a very accomplished hitter as well. A dual threat on this roster for North Attleboro. He faced Milford on the mound in the first meeting between these two teams last season. Had some early struggles as Milford was able to plate 3 runs to take an early lead, but the North Attleboro offense, with Sinicola as a part of that offensive attack, was able to come back in the later innings and earn a 7-3 comeback win. We're playing second base here today. Sinicola came into this week batting .385 with 11 runs batted in on the year. Sends this one out to center field. That is going to hit grass and roll into the left center field gap. This will mean a run early for North Attleboro, as McHugh will come all the way around to score. Sinicola thinking 3. Here comes the throw. It is there in plenty of time, and Sinicola is out, trying to stretch it into a triple. A good relay in the end, starting out in center field by Marcolini. But it will go as an RBI double for Sinicola as McHugh comes around to score to give the Rocketeers a 1-0 lead. So the bases are now empty with 1 out. Sinicola was thrown out at third base, but a good piece of hitting, delivering that one out into that left center field gap, as now ball 1 is issued to Zach DiMatteo on a pitch that kicked away from Almeida. The 1-0 pitch, that is high. Maybe a little amped up to start this game for Luke Rosa. Right now facing the batter that came into this week as the #1 hitter in all of the Hockomock League, and DiMatteo gets into this pitch, sends it out to deep right field. Naylor got spun around. It gets over his head and is going to roll to the deepest part of right field. DiMatteo hustling around the bases. He heads towards third, where he will end up with a stand-up triple. That's another ball that perhaps could have been caught had Naylor taken a better route, but he ended up getting spun around, tried to recover, stretched the glove out to try to make the play in the end, but it got over his head and then rolled all the way to the old football press box out in deep right field. And DiMatteo, perhaps not the fleetest of foot on this North Attleboro team, but was still able to leg out the triple. So it's been a single, a double, and a triple for North Attleboro, and now a wild pitch from Luke Rosa. It gets away from Almeida, and DiMatteo will touch home plate for the second North Attleboro run of the game. Not at all the kind of start to this one that Rosa was hoping for. 3 hits, and now a wild pitch, and North Attleboro quickly with a 2-0 advantage. Still just one out for Nathan Pierce, who's ahead in the count now 2-0. So Luke Rosa has been falling behind virtually every batter he's faced so far today. Now his next pitch, a fastball misses upstairs. And the chatter starting to come out of the first base dugout occupied by the Rocketeers, looking for perhaps a big first inning rally. Pierce taking all the way, ends up taking a called strike. The 3-1 pitch swung on and missed. Good pitch that time for Rosa as he continues to try to get his bearings here in the top of the first. Working quickly once again with the bases empty. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a ground ball to second base. Appleby scoops it up, throws low to first, but Wild has it. Two down now in the inning. And now Nick Ranieri at the plate. And the first pitch to the third baseman is flared to the opposite field, and it gets past the dive of Matt Shaver out into shallow left field. Not hit hard, but placed well for for Nick Ranieri, and he will come through with the fourth North Attleboro hit of the inning. And a two-out base runner now ahead of the number 6 hitter, Jeff Gale. First pitch down in the dirt for ball 1. North typically with a red uniform top look, but today opting for the home whites, which certainly helps out from a broadcast perspective. As the count goes to 2-0, last year when North Attleboro came to Milford, they wore their typical red uniform tops, making the two teams almost indistinguishable on the field. Quick conference between Almeida and Rosa before the at-bat continues, as Lucas really struggled to find the strike zone in this inning. And now misses very high, forcing Almeida to leap out of the crouch to keep that ball from going to the backstop. Rosa a look over to first base. And now comes home, and the pitch is swung on and missed. It's a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And that pitch drops in low for ball 4. The first walk of the inning for Rosa. And runners at first and second now ahead of Nolan Buckley. The 7th North Attleboro hitter to come to the plate in the first inning, and another pitch uncorked high. The 1-0 pitch. It's a good one right at the bottom of the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and 2 runners on for the Rocketeers, leading 2-0. Pitch swung on and missed. So Rosa now battling back in the at-bat to jump ahead 1-2, trying to conclude things. Back to the set position. The runners taking off well before the pitch was thrown. It misses outside, and All Almeida can do is stand and stare as both base runners were off to the races before Rosa was even into his windup. So now all of a sudden 2 in scoring position with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And the pitch swung on and missed, so in the end, the double steal does not lead to any more damage done on the scoreboard, but a total of 4 hits in the inning lead to 2 early runs for the top team in the Davenport Division. North Attleboro with a 2-0 lead. Milford will take their first swings of the game when we come back next here on Milford TV. An early 2-0 lead for North Attleboro as Milford will send their top 3 hitters to the plate in the first inning against Peter Cohen. Cohen part of a very strong North Attleboro rotation. He came into this week with a 3-1 record and an even 2.00 ERA. Pitching 21 innings on the season, allowing 10 walks, 21 strikeouts. That 2.00 ERA, the 3rd best amongst the primary starters for North Attleboro. Nick Sinicola with a 5-0 record and a 1.27 ERA. Matt Wanless with a 2-0 record and a 1.08 ERA. When you get to the playoffs, it's all about pitching depth, and this is a North Attleboro team that has quite a bit of it. So this is going to be a team to be reckoned with, a team that just barely missed out on the playoffs a year ago. So they came into this season with something to prove. A new head coach for this season in Mike Hart, and a lot has come together for the Rocketeers. Milford hoping they can get something done against the first place team in the division. Aiden Wild taking ball 1 to lead off this bottom of the first inning. And Wild puts a charge into this ball out into left field, but room for Nolan Buckley to make the catch. Wild jumping on a fastball, but ends up as out number 1. Wild moved up to the leadoff spot, a place he is unfamiliar with in the lineup. He has batted in the heart of the order for the majority of his high school career. And no doubt Coach Dion wanting to see some of his more reliable hitters getting on base to try to make something happen. Matt Shaver, who has led off for the bulk of the year, now moved down to this number 2 spot, taking a strike to even the count at 1. Cohen, the right-hander, delivers, and the pitch is fouled away. Defensively for the Rocketeers, it is Zach DiMatteo behind the plate, Nick Ranieri at third, Sean Waters, who is flexed out of the lineup, only playing defensively at short. Nick Sinicola at second, Aiden Harding at first, left to right in the outfield, Nolan Buckley, Nathan Pierce, and Jeff Gale. As now Shaver grounds one on a big bounce to first base. Harding down to one knee to field it. Steps on the first base bag, and there are 2 gone in the Milford first. And that will send up Tyler Almeida. Almeida also in a different position in the lineup than where we've typically seen him. Coach Dion putting the 2 Legion Baseball alumni back-to-back in the 3 and 4 spots in the lineup for the bulk of the season, but now Wild in the leadoff spot. Almeida moved up to the number 3 spot. Again, just trying to shake things up. The 1-0 pitch, that's low. Almeida overall on the season batting .225. As he sends this ball foul. 9 hits and 40 at-bats, 3 runs batted in for Almeida. 3 walks, a couple of stolen bases. And now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. As he tries to extend the inning, Matt Nickerson on deck. Cohen winds and fires, and the pitch is hit in the air out to center field. Long run for Pierce. He's there in the gap to make the catch. Center fielder reading that ball well, able to run it down, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Peter Cohen and the Rocketeers, making quick work of the Hawks. 1 inning in the books here from Fino, and it's a 2-0 North Attleboro lead here on Milford TV. Top of the 2nd inning at Fino Field. Milford trails North Attleboro by a score of 2-0. North getting a run on an RBI double and a wild pitch in the 1st inning. Luke Rosa hoping he was able to work out some of those jitters as he got through that 1st inning. He's back out to face batters 8, 9, and 1. Aiden Harding, the first baseman, leads off. And the first pitch of the at-bat misses outside. That was a problem for Rosa last inning, falling behind. And we'll fall behind here. 2 balls and no strikes. Rosa's next pitch, that one outside. Almeida trying to frame it, but did not get the call. And now the 3-0 pitch. That is not close. So again, North Attleboro will have the leadoff man on. Second walk of the game for Luke Rosa. And now the starting pitcher, Peter Cohen, comes to the plate, takes one down low, and Rosa still trying to find the strike zone for the first time in this 2nd inning. 5 straight balls. Short lead over at first base for Harding. And a wave and a miss on a pitch in on the hands of Cohen. That will even the count. We saw the double steal last inning. And we also saw in the game that we covered with Rosa on the mound earlier this year, a lot of teams running on Luke Rosa as the pitch is popped up out into left field. Nickerson lines it up, makes the catch. It was in a game back on May 2nd against Attleboro High School, where the Bombardiers were really able to run roughshod around the base paths against Rosa. Total of 8 steals in the game, so clearly seeing something in Rosa's delivery that allowed to get an extra jump on the bases. As Rosa will now go 2nd time through the lineup, deals in a first pitch strike to Brendan McHugh, who started the rally last inning with a single. And now falls in an early 0-2 hole as Rosa is able to get ahead. The 0-2 pitch is hit slowly towards the left side. Charging on it is Shaver. Fakes the throw to first base and will just hold on to it, hoping to catch the runner rounding second base, but instead Harding sliding into the second base bag. And it will go as an infield single. Not a bad idea for Shaver. It would have been a very difficult throw to get to first base. Really not much of a chance to get McHugh. So instead, Instead trying to catch that runner at second base, napping perhaps, but not the case. And the result now 2 on with 1 out. And a 1-ball, no strike count into Sinicola, who drove in the first run of the game last inning with a double, was thrown out trying to stretch it into 3. Delivers that baseball foul completely out of Fino Field, off to the left, out into the tree line. A big lead at second base for Harding. McHugh leads off of first, not held on as this ball is sent over the head of the shortstop out into left center. Rounding third base is Harding. He will score. McHugh will stop at third on a long single for Sinicola, his second RBI of the game. And North Attleboro now ups the lead to 3-0. So Sinicola now up to 13 RBI, at least according to our records. You might be able to uptick that even further, those stats, as of the start of this week. But certainly having an MVP caliber season, getting it done both on the mound and at the plate. Nick Sinicola earlier this week on the mound, pitching a complete game in what was a 2-1 victory against Stoughton. He allowed 8 hits, just 1 walk, struck out 8. Now contributing on the offensive side, just a very good all-around player. He is at first base with Brendan McHugh at third. And Sinicola now taking off on a pitch down in the dirt to Zach DiMatteo. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count on the batter. Already now the 3rd stolen base of the game against Rosa. Here's his 1-2 pitch. It's a ground ball to the shortstop, drawn in. Now has both runners hung up. He sends the throw to the plate, and the out will be recorded there. You really have to credit Shaver with just outstanding instincts at shortstop. He has really impressed this season. Playing in tight with the 2 runners in scoring position, got to that ball very quickly. And with both runners caught off of second and third, ended up eventually getting the out at the plate. That was McHugh erased. Sinicola able to advance to third on the play, with DiMatteo reaching on the fielder's choice with now 2 down in the inning. And immediately DiMatteo takes off, and a bluff throw from Almeida. And so even with the catcher running, Almeida not electing to send the throw down. And so once again, it's 2 in scoring position. And now a ground ball again to shortstop. Grabbed by Shaver, a good throw to first base. And so some excellent defense turned in at shortstop by Matt Shaver. Prevents any further damage done in the inning. 1 run does come home on the Sinicola RBI single. And it's now a 3-0 lead for North Attleboro over Milford here on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. Nickerson, Pyers, and Swanson due up in the second inning against the North Attleboro starter, Peter Cohen, who pitched a 1-2-3 first. Milford trailing now by a score of 3-0. So we saw the opposite transpire when these 2 teams met at Fino last season. It was Milford getting out to the 3-0 lead before North Attleboro was able to execute a comeback. Milford hoping to flip that script to play out in their favor this time around. Count now goes to 1-1 on Nickerson. The bad news for Milford is this is a North Attleboro pitching staff that has been extremely stingy overall on the year. There's been only one game on the season where North Attleboro pitching has allowed more than just 2 runs in a game, as Nickerson sends one hard out to left field, but directly at Nolan Buckley. He barely had to move to make a play on that fly ball for out number 1. And that high water mark in terms of runs allowed on the season for North came in a victory, an 11-5 victory over Canton back on May 7th. Other than that, it has been 2 runs or fewer in every other game on the season. And so with a 3-0 lead, Milford will need to do what very few teams have been able to do against this North pitching staff. Foul ball sent out of play by Colby Pyers, moved down into the number 5 spot after serving as the number 2 hitter through much of the season. With Pyers, just so much raw ability. Tremendous athlete. He has shown it in all 3 sports we've covered him in this year: football, basketball, and now baseball. A swing and a miss here. The ball getting away briefly from DiMatteo, but he sends the throw down to first in time to get the second out. Sooner or later, everything is going to click for Pyers, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 2 years to come. Still an underclassman. He's out number 2 here in the second. That leaves the inning up to the DH, Matt Swanson. Swanson out in front of a pitch for strike 1. Not much of a breeze here at Pheno Field as this game continues. Swanson a swing and a miss. And Cohen 1 strike away from completing a second straight 1-2-3 inning. Wind up and the pitch. And this time Swanson makes contact but pops it up in foul ground behind first base. Harding makes the catch. And it is indeed a 1-2-3 frame. It is still a 3-0 lead for North Attleboro against the Milford Scarlet Hawks as we bring you coverage of Milford High School baseball right here on Milford TV. A 3-0 North Attleboro lead. North back to the plate for the third. And Luke Rosa dealing in ball 1 to Nick Ranieri, batting 1 for 1. And now a foul ball to the backstop. Coming very close to our backstop camera, and ironic that that would happen with this North Attleboro team when they came to town last season. We had a foul ball that made direct impact with our backstop camera. It's Rocketeer batters just with a knack for finding where the cameras are located. The next pitch from Rosa misses outside. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count. It was a single for Ranieri back in the first inning, I should say. Also had a stolen base, but was stranded at third. Takes a big cut, but comes up empty. Full count on the batter and the pitch. Downstairs for ball 4. It's the second straight inning that Rosa has started off the frame with a walk. Three walks in all now for Rosa. We'll now deal with Jeff Gale, who worked one of those 3 walks back in the first. He will look at a first pitch strike. Ranieri out to a lead. We'll see if he looks for his second stolen base. He holds as the pitch misses in the dirt. Blocked in front by Tyler Almeida. The count now going to a ball and a strike. Now a foul ball brings the count to 1-2. Hard to see this Milford versus North Attleboro matchup in baseball and not think about the softball game that's going on between these two schools over in North Attleboro. A matchup that was supposed to happen much earlier in the season as the runner takes off early, and this time Rose is able to spin off the rubber and send a throw down to second base in time to get the out. So we've seen that aggressive running so far in the game for North Attleboro. The executed double steal in the first inning where both men took off before the windup even began for Rosa. It was again Ranieri getting a huge jump, but a little bit too big this time as he gets caught. And now a foul ball lifted out of play by Gale. But of course that softball matchup between Milford and North Attleboro features the top two teams in the Davenport Division standings, two of the top teams in the league, two of the top teams in the state. Next pitch into Gale is fought off out into right field. Naylor got a late break on it. That will drop in front. The runner keeps on going towards second base. The throw-in is now going to get away from Appleby. No further advance from Gale, who could see that Naylor was going to be late getting to the ball. Very aggressive running. This is a North Attleboro team right now that continues to keep their foot firmly on the accelerator. So it ends up going as a double for Gale. He's at second base now with one out. The caught stealing looming large, keeping a run off the scoreboard at least for now as Nolan Buckley swings at the first pitch, sends it out into left. A running catch for Nickerson. And Gale will retreat to the second base bag now with two down. Just to finish off the point about that softball matchup, Milford, of course, still undefeated on the season, putting that on the line against a very tough opponent. North Attleboro only one loss on the year, coming into today at 12-1. They're the two best records in the Hawk. For all of you tuning into our live streaming coverage, I cannot guarantee that we will get any updates on that game as our coverage progresses, but if we do, we will certainly relay them to you. Back to action here at Pheno, a called strike into Aiden Harding. Batting with a runner at second base and two outs. A lot of dancing at second base as that pitch just misses. Rosa had taken a step as if he had dealt in strike three, but instead a 1-ball, 2-strike count now as Rosa comes back to the set. And the pitch, that one in for a called strike three. Harding does not agree. It's just the second strikeout of the game for Rosa, but it brings an end to this third inning. North Attleboro does not score. They leave a man at second base, still a 3-0 lead for the Rocketeers over the Milford Scarlet Hawks here on Milford TV. The Scarlet Hawks in search of their first base runner of the game as they come to the plate in the bottom of the third. Sam Naylor, Justin Appleby, and Nick Marcolini coming up against Cohen. Sam Naylor leading it off in the starting lineup here this afternoon. We've seen him out in right field in each of our broadcasts, but in a flexed out role, only playing defensively, but today getting a chance to swing the bat. It starts off ahead in the count, 1-0. And now a big swing and a miss. Going a little, or excuse me, Naylor a little too amped up on that swing. Now the 1-1 pitch, it's sent off the end of the bat foul. Talking to Milford Legion Baseball coach Steve DeVito last week, he mentioned that Legion Baseball tryouts will take place this weekend. So I wonder how many of these Scarlet Hawks will head out to those tryouts as Naylor swings and misses. Down on the strikeout, the second K for Cohen. One down now for Justin Appleby. He takes the first pitch a little bit low. Going the kick and the pitch, a hard ground ball. That's past the dive of Waters at shortstop. And so there is the first hit of the game for Milford. Justin Appleby with a one-out single. And now that will bring up Nick Marcolini, the center fielder. Marcolini with a good-looking batting average on the season at .371. 13 hits on the year and 35 at-bats. He's scored 8 runs, which is second on the team. Has a double, 3 runs batted in. He's also worked 6 walks and has 9 stolen bases, so Marcolini has really gotten it done out of this number 9 spot in the lineup. Here he will pop one up on the infield in foul ground, now drifting back into fair territory for the third baseman Ranieri, who makes the catch. So Marcolini will head back to the dugout, 2 gone in the first inning, in the third inning. Now second time through the Milford lineup, a 2-out at bat for Aiden Wild, who hit one hard in the first. Went for an out. This time, we'll take that ball, peered off the forearm. A frequent occurrence for Aiden Wild, being hit by the pitch. That is the 5th time he has been hit by a pitch this season. So 2-on, 2-out opportunity for Matt Shaver. And Shaver sends one out towards the gap in left field. That is down for a hit, rounding third base. And crossing the plate is Appleby. Wild will get the stop sign at third. It's an RBI single for Shaver. And that will bring the score now to 3-1. Best contact of the day. And Shaver, who has demonstrated some sparkling defense at shortstop so far today, now getting it done offensively. The inning keeps going, runners at the corners. Milford with the tying runs on the bases now. With Tyler Almeida at the plate, who takes the pitch inside for ball 1, and suddenly a little bit of life now in the Milford dugout. And now the pitch hit in the air out to center field, sending Pierce back Now settles down to make the catch. Almeida could not quite get that one over the head of the North Attleboro center fielder, and it will go as the final out in the third inning. But Milford does get a 2-out RBI from Shaver, and it brings the score to North Attleboro 3 and Milford 1 as we play on to inning number 4 here from Pheno Field. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Milford cutting into the deficit just a bit, grabbing a run in the third inning. Now a 3-1 score. As Rosa faces off against Peter Cohen. Batters 9-1 and 2 due up for North. Cohen popped out to left field his first time up. Now has to back off the plate on that inside pitch. The count now even at 1. And now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. They continue to play under heavy cloud cover. Cool temperatures, but comfortable overall here at the ballpark today. Rosa misses inside with a fastball and now falls behind his counterpart, 3-1. Right back into the windup, and the pitch is shot out into left field. That will drop down in front of Nickerson. Took a funny bounce, but Nickerson able to stay with it. Cohen aboard with a leadoff hit. North has had their leadoff man on base in each of the first 4 innings now. Scored 2 runs in the first, a single run in the second. They were held off the scoreboard last inning, thanks in large part to a caught stealing. Rosa now trying to keep Cohen close to the first base bag with a pickoff check. Brendan McHugh at the plate, who is 2 for 2. He swings at the first pitch, hits it very hard, but foul down the left field line. McHugh singling and scoring in the first inning, reached on an infield single in the second, but was eventually cut down at the plate on a good play from Matt Shaver. So North making 2 outs on the bases in the early innings of this one. It's an 0-2 count on McHugh. And now Rosa wastes a pitch well up and out of the strike zone. And now a half swing from McHugh. He rolls it over towards the on-deck area. That's gathered in by his teammate, Nick Sinicola. Cohen inching back out to a lead over at first as Rosa comes to the set. And the pitch hit hard towards third base. Pyers waits for it, throws to second to get the out there. That's all Milford will get. Pyers deliberate as he waited for that ball, set his feet to send an accurate throw to second, making sure he cut down the lead runner in that situation. Cohen out at second base. McHugh reaches on the fielder's choice. So 1 on with 1 down ahead of the dangerous left-handed batter, Nick Sinicola, 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. Now almost a pitch out as that ball missed up and away. It led Almeida right out of his crouch to be able to be in good position to make a throw, but the throw one hopping the second base bag. Was backed up nicely. So McHugh safe with the steal. Wasting no time. And now the 1-0 pitch is lifted in the air, foul. Pyers and Shaver both give it a look, but that one out of play. Foul territory extending all the way behind that set of bleachers down the left field line, but there is a line that marks the edge of the field of play, so you cannot make a catch all the way up against the fence over there in foul ground. I believe the line is even with the light tower. Two ball, one strike count now on Sinicola. A single, a double, a stolen base, and a pair of runs batted in. Already a full stat line. And now takes a pitch in the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. Long look in for Rosa. And now the pitch, high for ball 4. Runners at first and second base now for North Attleboro, and we'll see the first visit to the pitcher's mound of the game for head coach Alex Dion. Conversation now with both Rosa and Tyler Almeida. North Attleboro threatening once again with 2 men on, only 1 out. And another very tough hitter at the plate, as we mentioned, the toughest hitter, in fact, in the Hawk. Zach DiMatteo, who entered this week with a .546 batting average. A home run on the year, 13 runs batted in, 11 runs scored. And starts off looking at a pitch low for ball 1. It's a 2-run advantage for North Attleboro right now, looking for more. Now that pitch also missing low. Almeida holding it there, trying to induce the strike call, but it goes to a 2-0 count. Chance for DiMatteo to narrow down his strike zone. Now in the dirt. And Rosa, one misfire away from loading the bases. McHugh lead at second, Sinicola off of first. The 3-0 pitch. That's in for strike 1. And now that one misses outside for ball 4. It's back-to-back walks. And the bases are now loaded for the Rocketeers ahead of number 5 hitter, cleanup hitter Nathan Pierce. And now Rosa missing low with the first pitch of the at-bat. No activity loosening for Milford, at least at the current moment. A North Attleboro runner at every base with only 1 out. And a swing and a miss. Pierce looking to break the game open with that swing. Milford plays in tight at the corners, up the middle. Second baseman and shortstop at double play depth. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's hit hard. It gets past Colby Pyers at third base. And 2 runs will score for North Attleboro as Pierce will hustle into second base with a 2-run double. And And that will up the North Attleboro lead to 5-1. It's the second double, the third extra base hit of the game for the Rocketeers, as both McHugh and Sinicola cross the plate. And now Milford forced to bring the entire infield in, as Nick Ranieri looks at a pitch high for ball one, and the command has just not been there for Rosa this afternoon. Line drive to the backstop for Ranieri evens the count. Ranieri's been on base twice, a single in the first inning, a walk in the third. It was thrown out trying to steal second. Milford now does have some activity loosening in their bullpen. As that pitch hits the bottom outside corner of the strike zone. One ball and two strikes. Here's the pitch. And this is out to shallow center field. The catch is made by Marcolini. Sends a quick throw back on the infield. The runners go back to tag up. It's hit too hard and too shallow for the runners to try it. So DiMatteo holds at third, Pierce at second, with now two outs. Jeff Gale now the hitter. Gale has also been on base twice, a walk and a double. So I should say it's been 4 extra base hits for North Attleboro in the game. Gale getting a double in his last at bat. He will not collect a hit here, as we see another rangy play from Shaver at shortstop, resulting in the out that ends the inning. But a big 2-run double for Nathan Pierce ups the North Attleboro lead to 5-1 over Milford, here on coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. 5 runs on 9 hits with no errors for North Attleboro. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for Milford. Nickerson, Pyers, and Swanson due up in the home half of inning number 4. Matt Nickerson takes a called strike from Peter Cohen, who yielded a run on a couple of hits last inning. Was able to end the inning with 2 runners left stranded. And his offense tacking 2 additional runs on the scoreboard to establish a 4-run advantage now, as Nickerson pops one up on the infield behind the second base bag. It's the shortstop Waters, now a shade onto the outfield grass, making the catch. The first man retired, and now Pyers to the dish. Colby, a strikeout victim his first time up. 1 of 2 Ks so far this afternoon for Peter Cohen. Cohen deals in a first pitch strike. You can hear the mitts popping in both bullpens, each team with activity loosening. As Pyers gets spun off the plate. Count evens at 1. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Back into the windup, the pitch for Cohen. Pyers with a slow ground ball to third base. Ranieri has it. Throws to first. 2 up and 2 down. Certainly worth mentioning that today was the MIAA's 2018 Girls and Women in Sports Day, so a number of female high school athletes from across the state were honored at Gillette Stadium. Gives us an opportunity to say congratulations to all of the standout Milford High School female athletes, and as we have progressed through this 2017-18 school year, we have seen a number of simply outstanding accomplishments in all of the female teams for Milford High School. As this ball is hit hard to third base, that sneaks under the glove of Ranieri. And Swanson reaches with a 2-out single. Milford able to get their third hit of the game. A 2-out chance for Sam Naylor. Struck out swinging in his first at bat. Cohen quickly sends a pickoff check over to first base. Swanson gets back standing. From the stretch, Cohen's pitch is popped up foul down the right field line. First baseman Harding ranges over, and it's Gale, the right fielder, who ends up covering the ground to make the catch. Initially, it looked like Harding was the only one who might be able to get into the neighborhood, but Gale able to make the catch. And that will do it in the bottom of the fourth inning. Milford strands their third runner of the day. So through 4 full from Pheno Field, it is a 5-1 Rocketeers lead over Milford here on Milford TV. Into inning number 5. Rosa back out there, facing the bottom third of the North Attleboro order. One ball, one strike count. Nolan Buckley 0 for 2 on the day. He's the only member of the North Attleboro lineup who has not reached base. A strikeout in the first, a fly out in the third inning. And now this pitch popped up in foul ground. The catcher Almeida discards the face mask and is able to make the catch. Good play by the Milford backstop, Tyler Almeida, and that's just the first time today that Milford has managed to keep the leadoff man off the base paths. With 1 out, Aiden Harding at the plate. He takes the first pitch strike. And now a wave and a miss. Nothing in 2 on the batter. And Harding not willing to chase. And now the 1-2 pitch misses upstairs, and the count now even. Rosa allowing 5 runs on 9 hits. He's also walked 5. And from an 0-2 count, it's now full. And the payoff pitch to Harding hits the inside part of the plate. So eventually, Rosa able to get the K. It's the second time Harding has struck out in the game. 2 up and 2 down. It leaves the inning up to Peter Cohen, who singled last inning, was eventually erased from the base paths on a forced play. And now a line drive, that's out into left center field. Could be extra bases for Cohen. And will be, as he will hold up at second base with a stand-up double. Another member of this North Attleboro lineup showing extra base power. The fourth double of the game for the Rocketeers. Milford unable to secure a 1-2-3 inning. And now Brendan McHugh will step to the plate for the fourth time. 2 for 3 on the day. There's a couple of runs scored. And the pitch from Rosa down in the dirt. Another good block for Almeida. A lead at second base for Cohen. Swing and a miss. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Bullpen currently quiet for Milford, so perhaps a relief pitcher ready and waiting in case Coach Dion needs to make a change in this inning. Rosa hoping to at least get through 5. His next pitch is a ground ball to the left side, snagged by Pyers. Gets the throw to first base in time. McHugh is retired for the final out of the inning. So the 2-out double is harmless in the frame. 4.5 innings done from Pheno Field. It remains North Attleboro 5 and Milford 1 here on coverage of Milford High School baseball on Milford TV. Justin Appleby swinging at that first pitch of the bottom of the 5th inning and fouling it out of play. Milford with a total of 3 hits coming in each of the last 2 innings. Trying to make some adjustments against Cohen. Appleby was able to deliver Milford's first hit of the game back in the 3rd. Came around to score Milford's only run. And now we'll take a fastball right off the backside and sends the bat away in frustration as he heads down to first, and Milford, a painful way to get the leadoff man on. Appleby at first, and now Nick Marcolini at the plate for his second at bat. Popped out to third base back in the 3rd. Shows bunt and ends up popping it up foul over the backstop. Nothing in 1 the count on Milford's number 9 hitter. Check over at first base. Appleby without a big lead, able to get back standing. And now the next one to the plate is delivered through the right side of the infield. Appleby had to hurdle over that hard ground ball. He makes it down to second base on the single for Marcolini. And Milford trying to put something together here in the fifth. 2 on with nobody out, and now Aiden Wild at the plate. So Cohen now having to face Wild with a couple of men aboard. And now a pickoff play on at second base. Cohen spinning off the rubber and ended up jogging partway towards second base before releasing the throw to Sinicola. Knapp will be able to get back. It's right back out to a big lead as Wild goes after that first pitch. Big swing and a miss. Nothing in 1 the count. Wild hit by a pitch in his last at bat. And now pops a pitch foul. Harding will go as far as he can, but that one goes out of play just beyond the first base dugout. No balls and 2 strikes on Wild. And now Aiden popping this pitch up just a couple of steps out into shallow right. Sinicola makes the play. So Wild unable to come through. It's just the first out of the inning. Runners remaining at first and second base now for Shaver, who's had a good day all the way around. Last time up, drove in Milford's run with a single. Hesitation from Cohen now comes to the plate. Misses high with a fastball. Shaver on the season batting .340. Now has 18 hits on the year. 6 runs batted in. Can make it 7, including the RBI in his last at bat. The pitch misses high. A snap throw to first. Harding was a little bit delayed getting up to the bag. Not quite expecting that throw from DiMatteo. Set and the 2-0 pitch. And again, it's popped up out into right field. In comes Gale. He's able to make the catch. So Milford getting their first 2 batters on in this inning. But since then, a couple of harmless pop-ups. Those runners remain at first and second base now with 2 down, and Milford will look for a pick-me-up from Tyler Almeida, who was twice flied to center field. Cohen continues to pay close attention to that runner at second base. Now deals in a first pitch strike to Almeida. Milford trying to turn their fortunes around with collecting hits with men on base. It's been a season-long issue. Good long look in this time for Cohen to get the sign. And now misses low with the pitch. 2 balls and a strike on Almeida. Appleby at second base, led off the inning with a hit by pitch. Marcolini at first, he singled. And now Almeida takes ball 3 high. Matt Nickerson hoping for a chance. He waits on deck. Waters trying to keep Appleby close at second. Now drifts back to his position as this ball is hit hard to first base. Harding can't handle it cleanly, recovers and uses the pitcher to cover the first base bag to get the inning ending out. Ends up going 3-1. And a frustrating inning for Milford. 2 on with nobody out, and they fail to score. So it remains a 5-1 North Attleboro lead as we head to the late innings. We'll see the top of the 6th when we come back next on Milford TV. A new pitcher on for the Scarlet Hawks as we reach the top of the 6th inning. Andrew Farabach. And his first pitch into Sinicola is hit hard on the ground, right back up the middle, and through for a hit. So Sinicola continues to have a perfect day at the plate. Now 3 for 3 with a walk mixed in. Now the pitch misses into Zach DiMatteo. Not an easy part of the batting order to come into the game against for Farabach. He replaces Luke Rosa. Ended up allowing 5 runs on 10 hits with 5 walks and 3 strikeouts in the game. Not the outing Rosa was hoping for, but going up against, again, a very tough lineup. Arguably the best lineup in the Hockomock League. 2-ball, 1-strike count. North has by far scored the most runs of any team in the Davenport Division. 84 runs coming into the game today. The next highest run total was 59. That was from Stoughton. As this pitch misses low, gets away from Almeida, and down to second base goes Sinicola. A 3-ball, 1-strike count. This is the 4th appearance for Farabach. 3 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned, 4 hits. And now this ball hit on the ground to shortstop, forcing Sinicola to retreat to the second base bag before Shaver sends the throw on to first. DiMatteo retired on the 6-3 ground out. Now a swing and a miss by Nathan Pierce. Last time up for Pierce, he drilled a 2-run double. That established the 5-1 lead that North currently possesses. The pitch from the lefty misses outside. Couple looks down to second base, and now the pitch to the plate is hit in the air out to center field, and Marcolini froze at first contact, and then it gets over his head. Sinicola keeps on racing around the bases. He will score. A second double in the game for Nathan Pierce. A ball that could have been caught, but Marcolini misjudged it. Ends up resulting in another run on the board for North Attleboro. They take now a 6-1 lead. Another runner in scoring position as Fauerbach now faces Nick Ranieri. Starts off a pitch missing for ball one. Ranieri a single, a walk, and a line out so far on the day. And now this ball popped up behind second base. Shaver is there. Two down now as Ranieri's retired. That sends up the number 6 hitter, Jeff Gale, making his 4th plate appearance. He has walked, doubled, and grounded out. And now first pitch swinging. This ball hit on the ground to shortstop. Shaver throws to first. And that brings an end to the inning. Pierce's RBI double puts another run in the column for the Rocketeers, who now lead Milford by a score of 6-1 on this coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. Cohen continues to work on the mound for North. Delivers one pitch and gets a pop-up off the bat of Matt Nickerson over to second base. Sinicola with the play. Milford had an opportunity to possibly get back into the game last inning, with Appleby and Marcolini reaching back-to-back to open the frame, but then Cohen able to induce pop-outs of Wild and Shaver before getting Almeida to ground out. And just like that, the threat went by the boards. Colby Pyers now up with the bases empty and one down, sending the first pitch of the at-bat out of play off to the right. Pyers 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Cohen nods his approval to the sign, and the next pitch misses for ball 2. And now Pyers skies the 2-1 pitch foul, and that will land just in front of the Fino concession stand. Two balls and 2 strikes. Good amount of fans here taking in the game this afternoon, a lot of them draped in blankets. The cooler temperatures here today. Pyers goes down on strikes for the second time. Three strikeouts for Cohen. He hasn't been overpowering. He's been content to pitch to contact. He's done so very effectively. Very little hard contact off the Milford bats throughout this afternoon. As Swanson starts off ahead in the count. Matt with one of the 4 Scarlet Hawks hits, coming with 2 outs in the 4th. Two 2-0 the count. Base is empty. Cohen with 1, 2, 3 innings in the first and second. And we'll have one here in the 6th as he's able to field his position, sending an underhand toss to first base to get the out that concludes things in the bottom of the 6th inning. It is still North Attleboro 6 and Milford 1 as we head to inning number 7 here from Fino Field. Coverage of Milford High School athletics on Milford TV. Andrew Fauerbach back out on the hill to face the bottom third of the North Attleboro order in the 7th. Hoping to keep North Attleboro quiet before his offense comes back up to the plate for one final chance. Strike one against Nolan Buckley, who has been the lone quiet bat in the North Attleboro order today, 0 for 3. Strikeout in the first and a fly out in the third. Popped out to the catcher in the 5th inning, and now down 0-2. Sends a soft ground ball to second base, scooped up by Appleby. Sends it to Wild, and can make it 0 for 4 on the afternoon for Buckley. Good start to the inning for Fauerbach, and now it's Aiden Harding coming to the plate. Walked and scored in the 2nd inning, but since then has struck out twice, once looking and once swinging. Both of those at-bats coming against the starter, Luke Rosa. He's on the hook for the loss. No balls and 1 strike, the count. And now a hard ground ball over to shortstop. Good hop for Shaver. Shaver has handled everything hit his way today with ease. Talking to Coach Dion earlier this week, he has really drilled the fundamentals with this team as the season has gone on. Base running and defense have been two of the things Coach Dion says that the team works on the most at practice. You can see that paying off. A lot of good defensive fundamentals, particularly on the infield for Milford today. Peter Cohen at the plate. Hits in his last 2 at-bats. But here he falls behind 0-2. Fauerbach hoping for a 1-2-3 inning. Lefty sets. Here's his pitch. And it's hit on a hop right back to the mound. Fauerbach to Wild. And a very good inning of relief for Andrew Fauerbach. He sets down the side in order. Milford coming to the plate in the bottom of the 7th inning, needing 5 runs to tie. We'll see if they can pull it off when we come back next here on Milford TV. Peter Cohen back on the pitcher's mound, looking for the complete game effort. Milford, meanwhile, hoping to spark a late game rally. They trail coming into this bottom of the 7th inning by a score of 6-1. Sam Naylor to lead it off, and he takes a fastball. Might have gotten him on the arm or even off the chest. That one buzzed him high and tight. And Naylor will head to first base. It's the 2nd inning today that Cohen has started off the frame with a hit batter. He's hit 3 men in the game. Now immediately checks on Naylor over at first. And now the first pitch into Justin Appleby is high. Appleby's been on base both times he's come to the plate. He singled and scored in the 3rd and was hit by a pitch in the 5th. Cohen very attentive to the speed of Naylor over at first. Now Appleby with a big swing. One ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the lineup trying to generate something for the Scarlet Hawks. Appleby with a fly ball out to shallow left. In comes Buckley. He's there to make the play. One down, Naylor stays at first. That brings up Nick Marcolini. He singled his last time up. We have seen some better at-bats for Milford in these later innings, but only the one run to show for it. Marcolini with an off-balance swing. Sends that ball foul. Aiden Wild lurking on deck. That one right on the outside part of the plate for a called strike 2. Nothing in 2 on the batter. And now the pitch comes up and in. Naylor started and stopped over at first. And now a hard ground ball. Just barely eluding it was Naylor. As Sinicola comes over, makes the play, and the throw to first. It's the second time we've seen that today, a Milford runner having to leap over. Ground ball hit towards second. Marcolini retired. Naylor ends up at second base, and now we'll leave the game up to Aiden Wild, who has been quiet today. 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch mixed in. And we'll jump on that first pitch, hitting it hard up the middle for a base hit. Naylor rounds third. A bobble out in center field for Pierce, and that will allow Naylor to score without a throw. An RBI single for Aiden Wild. Only so long you can keep Aiden's bat in check. Able to bring the score to 6-2. Let's see if Wild attempts to steal with Shaver at the plate. Holds on the first pitch that misses very high. Milford would need to load the bases to bring the tying run to the plate. Down to their last out. The next pitch in, and Shaver trying to hold up on the swing, ended up making contact, poking it foul. One and one the count on the Milford shortstop, Matt Shaver. Now takes one down in the dirt. Wild sidestepping back out to a lead. He is being held on by Harding. And Shaver now fights this one off towards the opposite field. In comes Jeff Gale, but it glances off of his glove. And what could have been the final out of the game, Gale couldn't squeeze it. Wild goes first to third. Hard to give an error to Gale there on a diving play, so it should be a single for Shaver. That puts runners at the corners for Tyler Almeida. Tyler looking for his first hit of the game. Takes the first pitch for ball one. North did have some activity working in their bullpen earlier in the game. Not sure if that was someone getting some side work in or if that was to get someone ready just in case. But the bullpen is quiet right now. Cohen now falling behind Almeida 2-0. North right on the cusp of a victory, but Milford not going down easily. A run in so far in the frame for Milford. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. And Almeida with a fly ball out to right center field. This should do it. As Gale and Pierce come together, it's Gale who makes the catch for the out that finishes off the ball game. So Milford trying to make something happen here in the 7th. They're able to get 1, but they will fall short as they fall to North Attleboro in this game by a final score of 6-2. Peter Cohen ends up getting the complete game victory, the loss going to Luke Rosa. With the loss, Milford falling to 3-12 now on the season. North Attleboro keeps on rolling, now 12-1 overall on the season. So that will wrap up our broadcast for this afternoon. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand, our director, Mike Sperling, and our camera operators today, Rob O'Keefe and Derek Birchtold. And I am Tim Coet. Your final score one final time. North Attleboro over Milford by a final score of 6-2. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.